Hello, everyone. We're here with Amanda James today, and she's going to tell us about how math has influenced her careers throughout the years and hopefully can inspire you to take on a little more math during your junior high and high school classes. So, Amanda, can you tell me about yourself?
Hi, everyone. Well, I think it's kind of funny that I'm the person talking about math in a career. I've never considered myself a math person as such. It's always been something that I've kind of worked at and incorporated throughout, but it's never really come easy. So hopefully this interview speaks to the girls out there who have to work a little bit at math and it might not be their favorite subject. But in terms of me, I'm a mom of four. I'm a business owner. I like to spend time outdoors, gardening, hiking, biking. I went to university, Memorial University, and I did a Bachelor of Commerce degree. Math certainly came in handy there. And then after 16 years in financial services, I decided to change my career, and now I'm a holistic nutritionist.
And that's really what drew me to pulling Amanda for this interview is I knew in nutrition there'd be so much math, just calculating everything that goes into your body, but I was pleasantly surprised to learn that you had that commerce degree as well. So you were just a perfect fit for this month. What was the big pull that twisted you from a commerce to going into nutrition?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, the career path has been a bit of a journey, Trina, for sure. It was actually a cancer diagnosis that changed my career or inspired me to become a holistic nutritionist. I had been studying nutrition for quite some time just out of personal interest and just loved everything that it did for my body throughout my recovery. And it helped me not only with my physical wellness, but it gave me something positive to focus on. And that helped with the emotional recovery as well. So, yeah, I would say that, now I help people like me who are going through a difficult time. And, it might not be cancer necessarily, but they're not feeling their best. And I help teach them, educate them on how food can be a part of helping them get back to feeling like themselves or just living a healthier lifestyle.
That's amazing. It's so important to kind of find that um, career path that fits you. And we hear it so often that people start on one and just end up somewhere entirely different, but it's all the journey. I'm sure the commerce degree must really help owning your own business.
Yeah, absolutely. And, math and science comes into my practice every day, even though I'm not that math person that I'm sure a lot of your viewers can relate to. It definitely enters my practice every day, both in the kitchen, if that's chemistry or figuring out quantities for a recipe or shopping and, your shopping budget, for example, and life in general. So, your household budget, but also in running a business. The accounting pieces, the analyzing market data, just making good decisions. Math helps with that so much. There's a certain type of logic in there that if you know your numbers, you can be confident in your decisions.
Wonderful. When you think back, was there can you imagine what your very first career related position was? What might be helping you greatly now that maybe at the time you didn't even realize was career related?
Yeah, it's funny you should say that. My first career was in the insurance world, and I was a marketer for an insurance company. So I spent a lot of time talking about financial planning and, I learned a lot about the financial planning world. And I think the decisions that I made in conjunction with my career and just the opportunities that I had to do good planning for myself has really helped me get to a place in life where, after my diagnosis, I was able to take the risks because being a business owner is a big risk, right? Financially. So I was able to do that because of the planning that I had done. So, and if I look at the skills across both careers, though both are very different. Helping people reach their financial goals and prepare for uncertainties around them is very much like doing what I'm doing now as a nutritionist, because I'm helping them plan for their health and their future in being healthy. So, and the same skills that I use, the problem solving, the analytical skills, the relationship building skills, all those were the same in both careers. So, it's about leaning into what you're not necessarily good at or what doesn't come naturally, so that you can be a more well-rounded person, especially early in your career. Later on, I guess you have more of a luxury of focusing on what really makes you tick. But early on, in order to develop the best base, you need to lean into the things that you're uncomfortable with. And for me, that was, the math courses in university, the science courses in high school, right?
That's such great advice. We always just want to become more well-rounded. You might be, excelling in math, for example, but if you need to focus a little more on your people skills, then make sure you identify that. That's great advice. So as you kind of changed from one career to another, were there kind of did you need to, like, as they say, reskill or do training?
Yeah, absolutely. I did a program. Like I said, I was first doing it out of personal interest, but then I decided to buckle down and really focus on finishing that up. But I mean, becoming good at what you do doesn't, it doesn't end when you get your diploma or your degree or your red seal or your fellowship. Like, whatever you decide to do, once you start getting some experience, then the continuous learning carries on, right? So the more you can become an expert in your field, the more you can take on, the more you'll be able to contribute. And I think if you can align your personal interests with your professional aptitudes, I think there's no limit to what you can contribute. So, you may not get to start out following your passion, but my advice to girls would be explore things, be curious, study your hobbies, like try a bunch of different things. And then when you find something that sparks your curiosity, really get into it, study it, become an expert in it, because it might be your career someday.
That's perfect. And I think we're already seeing that a little bit as the participants of the STEM for Girls program have been completing activities maybe in fields that they didn't think they were interested in. I'm already receiving some feedback saying, oh, wow, I didn't know. So getting that kind of, casting the net wide to find out what's out there and then dialing it back in is important. So you've got this brand new career, or, well, I don't know how long you've been doing the nutrition, I guess, but you've got a second career anyway. Do you have kind of a career goal now with that, or are you just loving life and this is everything that you hoped and wished for?
Well, I think my goal is the goal of my clients, right? I love helping people, and I think what I'm doing is pretty meaningful, because each person that I work with, I get to make their goal my goal, and that's really enriching for me, because I learn a lot as I go. I learn something from every client that I work with. So yeah, primarily it's just to help people on my own terms as a business owner, and that feeds back into my own health, right? This is a career that I chose, and part of the reason that I chose it was because it would be good for me as well and my family. So I can balance the lifestyle priorities and all the things that come with that. But certainly my goal is just to help my clients and live a healthy life.
Awesome. Do you have a kind of biggest professional accomplishment? Like, I feel like it might be a client that you helped, but
well, I think when I reflect on that question, a couple of things come to mind, like just starting my own business, because that is a really big risk and it's not my nature. And, you know, putting yourself out there is pretty scary, right? And it's not something like I launched my practice 4 years ago and then it's done good. It's like you're continuously day after day putting yourself out there. So for when you're kind of, I don't know if shy is the right word, but, you know, it's not my nature to do that. So, you know, that continues to challenge me every single day, but it's worth it because I do get to help people on my own terms. The other thing that I would say to accomplishments is that it's not always in your paid positions that brings you satisfaction or the sense of accomplishment. Like I've volunteered throughout my career, but most recently with the CBS Community Garden, I helped to establish that garden in our town, and that's been very rewarding. Professionally and personally, especially, but professionally too, because it is very much in line with my mandate of helping people live healthier lives. And again, I think when you bring those two things together, there's no limit to what you can contribute. So finding things in your career that excite and inspire you, and then bringing that to your community. When I look back, you know, at the landscape of my career, it's some of my volunteer projects that bring me the most pride.
Yeah, volunteering is such an enriching activity. It can help in so many aspects. I'm sure you might have even picked up clients through your volunteers. And I have said this before in various videos I've done for the STEM for Girls. It's those crossovers that make things a little bit deeper and maybe even a little bit easier. If you're doing one activity, see how it can help you do another activity, whether it's school projects that, you know, maybe you research the history of an item over here and the science of an item over here for two different classes. Both of those projects are going to be that much better for doing them on the same topic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's something I really only learned in university, but I try to pass that tip on as much as I can. So let's see. What kind of advice do you have for students now looking at similar career paths, whether it's getting into commerce or whether it's getting into being an entrepreneur, even nutrition?
Yep. Well, you know, I'll speak to the nutrition piece and the wellness industry. If you're considering a career path in the wellness industry, I would really encourage you to lean into the science and become an expert. Specialize in something that interests you, because it'll help you gain credibility. It'll help you to differentiate yourself. And I think that's really important because it can feel a bit like a crowded space. COVID has certainly taken a toll on our mental and physical well-being. And, you know, there's certainly a place for wellness professionals to help people or to empower people to take better care of themselves and to make lifestyle changes to help them be happier and healthier and less stress and manage isolation and all those things that COVID has brought upon us. So, you know, take the time. If wellness gets you excited, and I encourage it too, because it's amazing and it's a very rewarding field, but really be pragmatic about it. Learn as much as you can, educate yourself in what interests you, and and then you'll be able to make a difference.
Can you think of any like common misconceptions that come across all the time, like maybe friends or family, their misconceptions about either the wellness industry or being your own boss?
I think speak to the business owner piece. Sometimes people, they can have one of two views, and I think both are flawed. Either it's so much work and I'd never be able to have a balance. And that's kind of how I looked at entrepreneurship, coming from, you know, corporate roles and being an employee, never being able to turn it off really scared me. So there's people who look at it that way. And then there's people who think, oh, you'll have all kinds of flexibility and it'll be great to work the hours that you want to work. And neither is true, but both are true at the same time. So really it's about knowing your limits and taking care of yourself in the process. And it doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be self-employment, can be what you want it to be for you. And I guess the most important piece is to do something you love, and then it'll feel like you don't never work a day in your life, right? But that would be my advice to people is just to be patient. You're not going to love every job. You may choose a position for reasons that are practical, like you think it'll give you a good lifestyle, or it's something that you're genuinely interested in, or it's something that you're familiar with because it's what your mom or dad did. Like you don't have to make every decision based on passion, but if you put all of yourself into your roles, eventually your opportunity will come that you can make career choices that, you know, you'll end your career and spend the better part of your career doing something you love.
That's wonderful. I feel like the girls will have gotten so much out of this. And I thank you so much for spending this past little bit of time with us. And
No
hopefully we
worries.
get to get you in for some more videos in the future. Perhaps we'll get a cooking session on the go.
How fun. Sounds great.
Okay, thank you so much, Amanda.
Okay, take care, Trina. Bye. Good luck, girls.